Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews, and it is an honor and privilege to have the vocalist of Crobot, Mr. Brandon Yeagley, on the show. We're going to be talking to him about Crobot's sophomore album, Welcome to Fat City, and his graphic novel, Legend of the Spaceborne Killer, title of their song off their debut EP. So, Brandon, how's it going?
Doing excellent, John. I'm trying to stay warm here in central Pennsylvania. It's in the single digits the last couple of days, so we've been bundling up here.
Brother, I'm in Kentucky right now, eastern part, and I feel you. I feel you, my man.
When you got the beanies on in the house, you know it's cold.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, you got your gloves and bonnets on and beanies. Yeah, you know you're cold. Damn, it's supposed to be even colder tomorrow, too, so... Oh... They can take winter.
I thought I was ready for it, but I don't think I am.
Florida looks better every day, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I didn't get my thick skin yet.
So, what's impressed you the most about making the new album, Welcome to Fat City? What's caught your eye about it more versus, your debut album?
I think it's a more matured effort from us, and I think we've certainly grown as songwriters, and we're a little more developed in our sound, and although we're not reinventing the wheel by any means, there are certainly things that go into a Crobot song. We love to stay funky, we love to have that groove factor, keep it riffy and keep it rocking and rolling, and I think we've written some of our funkiest songs, I think we've written some of our darkest songs, and I think we've written some of our heaviest songs in this new album. So it's a little of pulling and pushing of the ends of the spectrum, so to speak, for the Crobot sound.
Now, I thought this was cool, and this guy's worked with a lot of bands, and he's working out with more bands these days now. How was working with producer Machine? If anybody doesn't know, he's with Clutch, Lamb of God, Every Time I Die, and plus mixed by engineer Alan Moulder with Foo Fighters, Nine Inch Nails, Them, Crooked Vultures, and Led Zeppelin. How was working with those guys?
We worked with Machine prior on Something Supernatural, so it was really a comfortable situation when we rolled into the studio, and we got to work right away, and we didn't have that sense of getting to know one another. We've certainly grown past those stages, so we just got to work right away, and we always like to have a bunch of songs ready to go, and it's really always interesting to hear Machine's input on what we bring to the table. He's like the fifth man in the room, when we were making those records, and it certainly brought a lot of creativeness out of us just simply having him in the room and just seeing him be so animated in different parts of the songs when he really, really likes what you're doing, and it's a good feeling to have some of your children, as we call our songs, survive, some of your favorite ones, because that's really what you're doing, is you're putting your kids on the chopping block when you go into a studio with 25 songs, and you got to dwindle that down to 15. So,
right.
Machine certainly helps in that process.
I know you mentioned these are like your kids, these songs, but are there any songs, Brandon, that stick out more to you on this album? If you could pick any at all.
You know what? I really enjoy Welcome to Fat City. Just everything that surrounds that song. I'm pretty sure it was the first song we wrote towards the latest album, and I really think that we were really honed in on the funkiness that we wanted to create with Welcome to Fat City. And I'm not usually a fan of having a title track, and it just was really fitting to have the name of the album, Welcome to Fat City, just with everything that encompasses that song. I think it's really a nutshell track for the entire record, and that's really why we decided to name the album after it.
After doing this for so long, man, what helps you keep your mind fresh and open to lyrics that you've not done before? I know it's maybe pretty hard, but what helps you?
I've always grown up listening to Sabbath and Dio and Zeppelin and the the pioneers of heavy metal. Maybe people consider it that, but that's what I grew up with. That was what was in the bottle. So I like to take that art of telling a story, especially with Dio as an influence. He does a really good job of creating characters and setting up a good story, and sort of like a metal opera way. And that really is what I try to dig into. And that's where a lot of this comic stuff is coming from, is that creating these characters and creating these storylines. And although it's not chronologically a concept album, there are a lot of concepts going on, and there are characters that actually do exist in a Crobot universe. So it's something we wanted to bring out, and when I talk to the artists that are involved in the comic book, they said, let's try to push this out there in a different medium. But it's all relative, lyrics and the graphic novel. So it's cool to bring those worlds together as well.
We're going to get that here in just a little bit. I'm excited about that. I cannot wait to get my hands on it and read that and check it out, man, because that looks pretty cool. Especially sci-fi stuff. That's kind of my alley, UFOs, things like that. I love it.
Yeah, well, definitely. I wear my nerd on my shoulder. That's for sure.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not.
Haters go to hate. They've been drinking a lot of haterade, bastards.
You got it.
So, what do you hope the fans take away from the new album once they start to listen to it?
I hope that they feel that it's a Crobot album, because we certainly did. We certainly thought that, we were bringing that sound and maybe maturing it a little bit and analyzing things a little more. And I hope that they feel that it's a growth and an evolution, because I know personally that's the way I feel. I feel I think that the cliche thing for bands to say is that they love their latest work the best, maybe because it's the most recent thing you've done. But I really think that we've grown as a band. We've grown in all aspects of what we do, and I think it's a more defined Crobot sound, and I hope that's what people take away.
Got just a couple more questions. We'll get into the novel here, brother.
Yeah.
Do you guys like the digital era that we're in right now of recording albums and things like that and getting your music out there easier? Do you prefer this, man? What's your guys' take on it?
Well, it's certainly not the 90s anymore, and I think the age of labels throwing a bunch of money around for bands at our level just it isn't going to happen. And I think that's kind of a good way, or a good thing in a way, because you're going to have a lot of bands that just enjoy what they do, and I think that the digital age is bringing a change to the industry, but I think it's a good change. You're going to find that there's more people that are really into what they're doing, as opposed to just keeping something going to stay relevant. I don't think anything like that will survive anymore in a digital age. But there are a lot of good things with Spotify. I know I've found a lot of artists that I wouldn't normally find anywhere else other than going by similar artists on Spotify, and I've found some of my favorite artists that maybe searching through a record store isn't going to get you nowadays. I think it's everything's so saturated, and we have the power of the internet at our hands, and we can sort of be our own DJs. I mean, I don't know that I really listen to the radio even anymore. It's because I have the digital form of music, and I can listen to whatever I want. So it's a really good change for music. I think people are excited about music, and they're excited about the music that they love, and I feel like that creates a stronger bond between band and fans too, because then you have the way of connecting with your audience and your fans like instantly. I mean, it's a crazy thing to have that world at your fingertips now. So I think there are definitely pros and cons to it, but I think no matter what, we're going to continue doing what we do is because we love it.
A lot of people.
No matter. say no matter what, we're going to continue to do that.
A lot of people don't like YouTube, but I actually found a band on there that I'm extremely impressed with. A band called Planet of Zeus. And
oh, they're awesome. Yes. From Greece, right?
Yes, sir. Oh my God.
Yeah. They're a great band.
Yeah, they're Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, all that sludge 70s stuff mixed into one with the new metal today. I mean, it is badass.
Absolutely, I agree. And their latest album is a really good album. It's a little different for Planet of Zeus, I think. Mm-hmm. I feel like they've done a few different things with this last record, but still riffy, still sludgy, and still awesome songs. I'm a big fan of that band as well.
Yeah, another band called too, 1,000 Mods. I like them too. I just discovered, so.
Oh, 1,000 Mods. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, do it, Brandon. Seriously, they're really good. They're kind of on that lines of like Planet of Zeus, Black Sabbath, Zeppelin, that style, but a little more heavier. But it's good. I mean, it's
nice.
It's fresh, and that's fucking awesome, man. We need it.
Yeah, I agree. Is it 1,000 like spelled out, or is it?
No,
okay.
It's just at 10000 mods. 1,000 mods. No, 1,000 mods.
Cool.
Yeah, check them out, man. You'll dig it.
Nice.
For you, what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark?
Man, I don't know. I think it's just always been with me, whether or not I was playing an instrument or anything like that. I mean, I've always sang, however terrible it may have been. I've always kind of sang, and I started playing guitar when I was 15, so I just tried to learn to play and sing at the same time because I figured it'd be much easier now to learn while I'm starting. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of picked up a guitar and listening, AC/DC and Sabbath, Zeppelin, and Deep Purple and all that stuff. I just grew up in record stores and having uncles as musicians, so I really grew up around it. So I feel like it was in my blood, and just kind of pursued until I thought I was good enough, and I think I still continue to learn for sure, but it's been a crazy journey, and to think that we've been on some of the tours that we've been on, and it's just, I don't take it for granted, that's for sure.
I talked to a friend of mine, Josh Crum, actually from Downtrend. He said that he got to see you guys at Hooker Hollywood over in West Virginia or Huntington. Yeah, Huntington. You guys played over there. And he's like, you guys were the first band that came on and just killed it. And then the next two bands that came on, even the headliner, and I'm not going to even mention the headliner, you guys were 10,000 times better than the other two that were on there. He said you guys really got the crowd going, and after that, it's like the other two bands just like said, well, fuck it. No, they were done.
No, we certainly like to leave it all on the stage, and whether it's in front of 20 people or 20,000, it's going to be the same show. It might be a little more sweat-soaked, depending on how close you are to us. But I think that's what keeps us going is just we love to play on stage, and we don't take for granted playing with some of the bands that we played with and being able to tour like we have been. And I can't think of another job in the world that would lead me to the places I've been. So Huntington, West Virginia was definitely one of those places, and we've been back there a few times.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool place. You guys got a really cool scene of, I hate to use that word, but scene of people that really enjoy music, and for what I think is the better kind of music. They seem to be really into the stoner rock, sludgy, riffy rock. So,
and I love what you just said, man. You play every show like it's your last, and that's the way it should be. Why half-ass it and do it? I mean, why do that to somebody?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of factors that could go into it.
Right.
I definitely understand when somebody's, flying in for a festival and they had to catch a 6 a.m. flight to be there to play at noon, or, whatever the circumstances may be. I know they do exist, and sometimes you can't give it your best show because you're sleep deprived or food deprived, or there are a lot of those things and a lot of those elements that could lead to not putting on the best performance. But we certainly try our best to get out there and give the fans the same show not the same show every time, but the same effort towards the show every time.
So let's get into this graphic novel, man. I'm pretty psyched about this. Legend of the Spaceborne Killer, and it's a title track for you guys' songs. What made you want to do a graphic novel and use the title of one of your songs with this, man?
Well, I think it just kind of started as something for me to pass the time in the van, honestly. And, there are some pretty crazy stories that surround the lyrics, and chose the title Legend of the Spaceborne Killer because it was like the first Crobot song ever written. So the history goes back to Legend of the Spaceborne Killer, and I'm just being the huge Douglas Adams fan and being into comics and the medium, and I feel like, I don't know if it's my attention span is so small these days, but I would rather read a comic than watch a movie. Honestly, I just love the storylines in comics, and I really like the resurgence of sci-fi comics, and there's a lot of really cool adaptations of sci-fi and modern sci-fi comic writers. So I really was excited about it, and just from my love of comics and boredom, really, births Legend of the Spaceborne Killer, and we're excited to have the opportunity to finally put it out there. I mean, honestly, it just started as a barroom conversation between me and the artist Sean Stromera. I really didn't think that it would come to fruition and exist in the physical world. So,
right.
Well, we shall see.
How much of an influence has Sean been on this with you to do this, man?
Oh, very much. I mean, I basically write the script for the comics, and he turns my stick figure drawings into the pages of the comic. It's incredible. I don't know how the guy does it, honestly.
I'm right there with you. All I can do is stick figures too, so it's all good. Now, these characters that we're talking about, are we going to get like the classic old school characters, or these new characters that's going to be introduced?
There are going to be some new characters. There are going to be some familiar characters if you're familiar with the band. One of the main characters is a cosmonaut who gets lost in space with his wife, and his wife gets kidnapped. And I don't want to reveal too much, but it's definitely a space odyssey, and there are some characters like the Necromancer and Chupacabra and wizards, and a lot of things that relate to the lyrics within our last album, Something Supernatural.
Mm-hmm. Could there be a follow-up with this, man, possibly, or you're just going to hold on to see what this one does first, or what?
Well, I have the script for the first 4 issues done, and I think, we're going to reevaluate things once we see how our Pledge Music campaign does, and if we fulfill our goal, then we're going to continue to try to put everything out in physical form, and we'll probably do similar campaigns with the next chronological issues until we get to the first volume. And if we don't end up getting funded, I think maybe we'll just do a digital thing. But I have the first 4 scripts written, and I hope to continue through the next album as well, and finally catch up with the script for Welcome to Fat City story arc. So this is going to be something I'm going to at least continue to fill my time with in the van. Whether or not it all will get out there in circulation remains to be seen. But
can people pre-order this now, or do they have to do this to the campaign?
the campaign is basically a pre-order.
Okay.
There are a lot of tiers in there. Like you could get a soft cover edition of issue number 1. There's also another version with a variant cover that our guitar player Bishop did, and that variant cover also is going to have a special edition prologue from, and it's a little more of the history of one of the characters. And there's also an Ultimate Edition hardcover that's got like sketches and part of the script, and you're going to get that extra prologue in there, and it's going to have like its own foil stamped cover. And there are some other things on there, like prints from the artists that worked in the comic. Bishop did a print as well that features one of the cover arts. And there's some other cool things on there too, like you can get yourself drawn in the next issue. We have that option up there as well. So
nice.
We're trying to play around a little bit and see what we can do here with this Pledge Music campaign and really create something special for the fan.
I'd just like to say, before I let you go, as a fan, I've truly dug your guys' music, and thanks for it, man. Appreciate it.
Anytime, John. Anytime. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, before I let you go, how can people stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, get this as well, and tour dates, things like that. How can they do that, Brandon?
Crobotband.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever your poison.
Before I let you go, good sir, will you care to do a promo for my show?
Sure. Hey, this is Brandon Yeagley, vocalist of Crobot, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thank you so much, Brandon.
Anytime.